Hey, it's Melanie Benson here, host of New Era Success TV and America's leading authority on optimum performance. And have you really gotten to the next level of your success? You know, I think many of us think we're really there or we're on our way there, but are we really? I go to yoga at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And not too long ago, I showed up for a class after having been sick for a month. I missed quite a few of my favorite 8:30 Saturday morning classes. I had traveled, I had been really ill, had another travel speaking out of town, and it just felt like it had been forever since I was there. And I've been doing yoga probably close to 20 years on and off. And so, you know, I like to think of myself as I'm pretty good at it, but I'm certainly not a pro. And I've prided myself at being a great yogi and not pushing myself. So I got totally and completely confronted when I showed up for this class, even with a warning from my sister who said, it's gotten a little bit tougher, and this class kicked my butt. And I realized going through this class, my first instincts were to quit. My second instincts were to get pissed off and complain. Like, hey, how come I didn't get a warning? You didn't post it on the website that you changed the class. My third one was to try and coach and mentor my yoga instructor to have some other classes that I could come to at my time. I totally pulled the prima donna thing and said, and I'm not a prima donna, so this was really funny for me. And I was really just resisting taking my practice to the next level. And maybe you can relate to that. The reason why I bring this up is so many times we're in resistance to and in our blind spots around our success. We're not willing to really challenge our assumptions or to stretch ourselves beyond our comfort zone. There was nothing comfortable about this class. It wasn't as fun as I was normally used to. It certainly was not using the skills that I had in yoga. I was having to do a series of poses so quickly that I could barely breathe. I was so sore the next day. I was exhausted. I mean, she called it vigorous flow. I called it kick my ass yoga. And that's just not the kind of yoga I've ever enjoyed. But something really interesting happened, and it really made me think of how we approach our business. And that was, I realized if I'm ever going to get to the next level in my yoga practice, I had to start doing some poses, and I had to start taking a class that was a little bit beyond what I was comfortable with. And this was a lot beyond, but that didn't mean I had to quit. It didn't mean I had to go look for another yoga studio. It didn't mean that I couldn't do it. It just simply meant I had to be willing to show up and do things not perfectly until I could get better at them, and maybe balance it with one of the other intermediate classes so that I could practice my foundation while I stretched myself. I hope you caught that, because that was one of the big ahas that I wanted to share with you today. Oftentimes we're so focused either on driving ourselves to the next level or in our comfort zone that we don't realize we have to do both simultaneously. And this is one of the biggest things that yoga has taught me. I have to continually master the foundational pieces of my practice. I have to work at my basic poses, my basic form, my breathing, my ability to quiet the monkey chatter and not try to solve every problem that my clients and I have in business while I'm in yoga, but instead be really present to getting the pose in the best way I can in that moment, while I stretch myself and challenge myself and learn new ways to take my success into the next level. So where are you holding yourself back? Because you've been playing it comfortable. You've been convincing yourself that you've got it, that there's nothing else for you to learn, or that maybe that you're okay right where you are. You don't really need to do anything else. Really? Are you experiencing the level of wealth, the level of accomplishment, the level of credibility, the level of impact that you know is possible for you? Are you selling yourself short, or are you really there? And if you are, high five. That's great. I love that you are there. And perhaps you can teach us all what it took for you to get there. But if you're not, and you're playing it safe and you're holding yourself back, try this. Ask yourself, what are 3 to 5 of the foundational pieces that if you focused on getting them totally right and you really strengthened your ability to be in them, you would have the confidence and the courage to take another leap. And what is that thing that you've been holding back, a little bit afraid of? Something that you don't know how to do, or every time you tried it, you failed, or you haven't really gotten the results you wanted. And so instead of growing your foundation and getting help to master this, you've just been giving up or holding back. Where could you really take things to the next level? By stretching out of your comfort zone while mastering the core of your foundational practice. This is something that we all get to do every day. It's why I love the work I do in Beyond Optimum Performance, the Money DNA courses, and all of the work I do, because we're constantly stretching with the possibility and looking at ways to accelerate our growth and success with balancing the foundation. How strong is our foundation, and do we have what it takes to leap? So here's the thing. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it certainly doesn't have to take a long time to get there. But you've got to start somewhere. So where are you going to start? What's your next level that you want to get to? And what foundational pieces do you need to put in place? So here's some of the foundational pieces that I've had to look at over and over again. One is my relationship with money and success. We all get confronted with things that hold us back on a very unconscious level. And when they rise to the surface and peek their head out, we've got to really look at them and say, is this one of those things that I've got to tackle in order to bridge this gap and get to the next level? One of them for me has been, how do you grow without losing connection with your free time and with my free time? I have a really strong boundary. I like to take a lot of time off. That's what's important to me. It's what helps me thrive. So if I find that I'm having to push myself more or work more hours, sometimes I resist. And I have to ask myself, is what I want, is the impact I can have, is the result of this worth getting into the drive mode and really challenging myself for a while, not for permanent, but for a while, and to be able to invest some of my free time and my recharge time back into the business. And when I answer that and check in with myself, I can say yes. And then I work on the foundational elements of getting the roadmap in place, getting the marketing strategy in place, looking at the plan, and making sure that I have what it takes to kick it off. The next thing that has been really big for me is I'm constantly balancing how do I keep my integrity and say what's in my heart and do the things I'm passionate about with balancing selling it. Just because we have a great idea doesn't mean that it's going to sell. And this has been a big one for me, and oftentimes I've been really confronted by it. You may think I'm this great marketer, and a lot of people say, Melanie, you're like one of the best marketers. You know what? I'm not. I'm really not. It's not about marketing for me. I have never felt really confident as a marketer, but what I do feel is really passionate about helping people have access to the resources and the tools and the transformation they need to achieve their big dreams and their goals. So I do what it takes. I fill the gaps. I look at what I have to work with, what my strengths are, and then I hire out or I outsource or I get people to support that. Or I learn it. I learn what I need to do. So those are two of my biggest ones. What are yours? What's one of your biggest ones? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let's share with each other what we're working on, what we're mastering. It might help someone else really have the courage to step up their game and take things to the next level. I'm Melanie Benson, host of New Era Success TV. Bye for now.